about the time that I got dumped at the Olive Garden. Yes, the time that I got broken up with at the Olive Garden. Who knows the Olive Garden, right? Bottomless breadsticks, when you're here, your family, right? Like, it's good. And maybe it's because we're not very far from that particular Olive Garden. I was on a road trip with my boyfriend at the time, in my early 20s, and we were driving from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. And if you've ever made that drive, there's a tiny little city in the middle called Victorville. And there aren't a lot of options, and when it was summertime and it was pool season, and at the time we were depriving ourselves of carbs and sugar and all the goodness, the first place I absolutely wanted to go to was the Disneyland of carbs, which is the Olive Garden, yes? He was about 10 years older than me, and my brain biologically was not fully developed. Like, let's be real, that happens at like 27. I think I was like 21. And so at the time, I believed that because he was older, that he knew better. And we walk in, I'm so hungry, I'm so excited for carbs. And I got the menu out, like I know what the menu says, you know, but they have the pictures in there that just look so fun. And the server comes over and she takes our drink order and she drops off the breadsticks and she goes, "Are you guys ready to order?" And I really could not decide if I just wanted the chicken fettuccine Alfredo or the full tour of Italy, right? Okay, if you're not familiar with the tour of Italy, you get the fettuccine Alfredo, you get the chicken parmesan, you get the lasagna, and the bottomless salad and the bottomless breadsticks. So I was like, I think I need a minute. I think I need a minute. So she's like, okay, no problem. So she, drops off the drinks, the breadsticks. And my boyfriend at the time looks at me in disgust. And he backs away from his chair to the point to where the chair fell on the floor. He slammed his hands on the table and said, "I'm done with you," and left. Right. Now, I wish I could have told you that maybe I laughed at him or I said, "What is your problem? Screw you," and got my own ride back. Uber did not exist at the time, although I don't know that they would have taken me from Victorville to LA. But instead, what had happened was I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed. I made up a lie to the server saying, you know what, he wasn't feeling well, so he just went to the car. I got our orders, more than enough. I paid for it myself, and I cried my way back to the car, and the whole way back, I apologized to him. I apologized to him for everything that I had done wrong, for everything that I was that was wrong. I wish I could tell you that when we got back to LA, I said, "I'm done, and we're done, and never again." And unfortunately, I stayed in that relationship for months and months and months, almost a year, letting him dictate what I was wearing and what I was eating and what my worth was and where I was going, and on a regular basis was told that I would never amount to anything without him. But let me tell you something. When a day came, months and months and months later, when I finally accepted, because I think in that moment I knew this is not okay, when that day came, it only took 10 seconds to utter the words, "I'm done with you. And you will never, ever, ever, ever see me again. Do not contact me." But here's where the beauty in it is that some of the most courageous moments and milestones in our lives, all it takes is that 10 seconds of power. It can take you weeks or even months to that point, but 10 seconds can change your life. In those 10 seconds, I decided I'm not playing small anymore. And in fact, I want you to write this down right now, because we're going to take a whole bunch of notes when we get tactical in a minute, but I want you to write down, "I'm done playing small." Whatever small is for you right now. I find myself even now realizing, you know what? I can still go bigger. You know what? I can still inspire more people. You know what? I did back down when I should have spoken up. And so I want you to think of 3 things right now. 3 things that would take you 10 seconds of power that could very well change the trajectory of what happens when you leave here. Maybe it is making that phone call. Maybe it is hitting that record button or taking that picture without your makeup on. Maybe it is getting out of that relationship. And here's how I'm bringing this back into video. So I did eventually share this story over video. And actually, let's rewind. Can we pull up that first slide really quick? Maybe, maybe not. There it is. So what happened when I had the 10 seconds of power to leave this relationship is in that moment I decided I am never going to allow myself to be in a position like that ever again. And there were other compromising situations that I got into and feelings of rejection and fall on my face moments. But you know what? Every single time it got easier to channel those 10 seconds to where it amounted to little snowflakes. And then all of a sudden those little snowflakes turned into little snowballs. And then those little snowballs turned into big ones and then snow people and then massively mountains and avalanches. And 10 seconds to upload a video to YouTube. 10 seconds to walk into an audition room that I did not feel at a moment was worth going into to get the biggest job of my career and launch my television career. 10 seconds to actually put myself out there to say, Gary Vaynerchuk, I belong on your stage. 10 seconds to say, you know what, I am worthy of this promotion. 10 seconds. Yes, it takes longer than that, but 10 seconds. So eventually, though, what did also happen is that I turned this story into a short form video on a platform called TikTok. Heard of TikTok? And in those 10 seconds, it probably took me, less than 10 minutes to record that story, because I'm looking at the clock right now and it's taken me that long to tell this story. And here's the thing about that video is that right now, I'm in this room and I'm moving along this stage and I'm trying to make eye contact with every single one of you. When I share that story on video and I make eye contact with that lens, it feels like every single person who is watching that video is being told that story by me on FaceTime. So when you're thinking that video is a trend or video is a fad, let's look back at the last 2 years. Video is a part of what we're going to be going forward. We are not going back. If people want to go to an in-person event, it's because they truly actually want to be there and they realize, you know what? I want to make sure that if I'm going to spend time with people in person, it's going to be worth my time. People have trust issues. But I told that story once on a video. It took me less than 10 minutes to do, and to this day it has millions of views from people who I otherwise never would have met in real life. It has impacted millions of people, and actually, the reason why I chose to share that story is because when I walked in yesterday, one of you came up to me and said that you saw it. One of you came up to me and said, thank you so much for sharing that. That gave me the power to leave my relationship. And ever since then, it has amounted to allowing me the courage to be able to pursue a brand new life, and now here I am. It's not my story to share, but can we please give her an even louder round of applause? I know she's here. I just made eye contact with her. It's really easy to come to an event like this and to get caught up in the product, which is so exciting. Congratulations on your new product. It can be hard to come back and remember why you did this in the first place and how you're actually affecting other people. And how we can get really caught up in the vanity metrics or on what we look like, but you never know who could be watching you. You never know the impact you could be making. Think about all of those profiles or videos that you watch and you don't follow that person, you don't like that person. In fact, you might be trying really hard not to double tap anything on that screen because you don't even want them to know that you're scrolling so far. So what I hope that you get from our next 20, 25 minutes together is a better understanding for why you need to be utilizing social media, and especially the power of videos, because no, it's not this fake filtered highlight reel unless you make it that. If anything, and if you're not listening right now, this is one of the most important lines that you're going to hear. Two things. One, people have been craving human connection long before social distancing was the way of our world. People have been craving human connection long before social distancing was the way of our world. The future of social media is not going to be who has the most followers. The future of social media is going to be recommendation. And if you take nothing else from this presentation, know that. What does that mean? That means that very soon, every single platform is going to be adopting the sledgehammer that is TikTok, in that when you log in, it doesn't matter if it's Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok, when you log in, your feed is not going to be people who you follow a little bit, but more so, it's going to be people who you don't follow. And for you as a business owner, that's gold. Because previously you had to pay for that. You had to be able to compete with everybody else for that. You had to have a production team. You had to know the algorithm. You had to know all the secrets. You don't anymore. So now imagine if you start creating content and all it takes is a few minutes and the algorithm works in your favor to get your videos, your products, your business, your transformation in front of people who previously had no idea who you are. And so we need to treat these tools as one more platform for human connection. One more platform for touch. One more platform for trust. It used to be that before the pandemic, it would take someone on average 5 to 7 touch points to make a buying decision. 5 to 7 touch points. What does that mean? That means that they see your face or they see your product or they see the transformation and it pops up 5 to 7 times. Maybe it's a commercial, maybe it's a video, maybe it's a picture, maybe someone talked about it at a party. In the year 2022, I just want you to yell this out. On average, how many touch points do you think it takes for someone to make a buying decision? 21 to 24. 21 to 24 touch points, potentially 21 to 24 minutes for someone to decide that they want to trust you. Now, this does not mean that I want you to take more time in your day, that I want you to spend all of your time on your phones. If anything, I'm here because I want you to work smarter and not harder. How does that sound? Who wants to work smarter and not harder?